Hello everyone, how you doing? Welcome to today's video. I'm going to do this rolling start first, then we'll talk. Good morning driver, today you're in charge of 3P51, the first of the Grand Central driver trips to Blackpool North. The purpose of these trips is to familiarise drivers ahead of the new Blackpool to London service. They're due to launch spring 2020. Prepare your cab right away and head for Blackpool. Have a good drive. Okay, so we are in the Class 90. Let me get everything set up. Put that into forwards. We'll cancel that. We need the headlights on, which are over here. The electric train supply is there. Right, I think that's everything we need to do. We do have a 35 coming up into Preston Station. We're just south of Preston at the moment. But we are in the Class 90, as you can see, with a strange consist, which we'll talk about as we go. We got some facts and figures about this, and I'm just gonna start braking for the 35. We're going into Preston, but we're not picking up any passengers because we are a test, sort of training service, as it mentioned. But the Class 90 is coming to TSW courtesy of Alan Thompson Sim. That was on this week's roadmap, and since I put that little video out on Thursday itself, lots of you have engaged with that, and thanks for that. Lots of you have raised comments. Lots of you hyped about it coming to TSW. It won't be coming to Blackpool branches, by the way, because the route I'm going to run now is the Northern Lines 2.1 electric, which is in TS Classic. It's an electrified version of Blackpool branches. If TSW is all that you play, you'll recognise it as Blackpool branches. But this is the electrified version. So you won't be able to run the 90 in TSW up the Blackpool branches, but it's coming as a freight loco as well, not a passenger loco. Although, via Creators Club and free roam or whatever you want to do, you'll probably be able to run something with it as passenger initially. But let's just make this stop at Preston. That guy, look how close that guy is to the edge. That'll scare him, won't it? Now I've got the wipers on. How do we reset the wipers? Is that it? Oh, that might be it. Let's get to the end of platform 1, and we'll talk about these specific services as well. So, yeah, for the Class 90, we don't know when it's coming to TSW. Kind of threw that in, didn't they, on Thursday? As I was saying in the other video, I'm a DTG ambassador, and I didn't know it was coming. So it was a complete surprise to me. It was a nice surprise. And you see how it was tucked away as well in the article. It wasn't one of the main things that came out in the article, but it was for me. And it was for many of you in the comments as well. So jump straight into TS Classic, so that if there are any of you that are not familiar with a Class 90, and I bet there's not many of you that are not, you could have a look at the 90. I've picked out a DB red one as well. It looked like, from the article, it was possibly a DB red 90 that was shown as an example. It's going to be running on the West Coast Main Line South in TSW, by the way. But of course, we all know the run to Blackpool. Let's just cancel that. So I thought it'd be useful to just run it up here, and it's a quick service. As you can see, we've got 17 miles to get to Blackpool. No stops on the way. So we'll get underway. I'm going to set the speed set to 35. Let's just apply power again. There we go. You'll notice that this route actually looks a little bit different to the one that we got in Blackpool branches because of the time period. Blackpool branches been in the 80s, and this is set in 2020, I think it said. So you'll see some noticeable differences. Especially this, just out here, Ladywell sidings to the right. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I used to work in this building up here. That was a British Rail building. That was Ladywell House. And that is now a hotel, sadly. And it's had sort of some kind of cladding put on the outside, so it's not recognisable. The length and shape of it is, but the building itself is not recognisable for what it was back then, which is a bit of a shame. The one thing you will get always is St Walburg's, as you can see coming up now ahead of us. Don't think that'll change. Although I don't think that gets as much use as it used to. Anyway, we're off to the left, up to Blackpool. We'll talk about these particular services. We'll have a look outside and I'll show you what this is all about. We can shortly go up to 70, so once we do that, we'll go through the notes. Let me know if you like these type of videos, by the way, where we're just having a look at certain services and having a chat about what they are and what they were all about. And quite often, like this one, the services don't exist anymore, so I quite enjoy doing these, but do give me the feedback, let me know. Right, we'll soon be up to the 70. It did mention in the article, didn't it, about the speed set. You can see how it works here. So it's the middle dial here. You see I've got it set to the 35. Once we hit the 70, I'll just dial this up. And we'll leave it going. We've got 75 coming up not long after that. But let's have a quick look outside, shall we? We've got these XLNER Mark IVs on the back, which we'll talk about as well. This one's driver Jack Mills. 90036. There's the alarm again. Did it get me? No, it didn't. We were lucky that time. Right, let's whack this up to 70 on the speed set. We'll put the full throttle in. And there we go. And I'll call up notes for this, and we can talk about what this service actually is. So, Grand Central Rail plan to launch a new open access service between London Euston and Blackpool North in 2020, which is where we are right now. And to prepare, they conducted driver training runs using Class 90 electric locomotives and XLNER Mark IV coaching stock. The service was part of a £21 million investment, including leasing 4 rakes of 6 Mark IV coaches from Eversholt Rail. So let's have a quick look, shall we? In fact, you know what? Let's pause it, and we can go and have a look around. So we've got this 90 on the front. This is 036, and then we've got the XL in the yours here, as you can see, the Mark IVs. And if we come down the back, I'm doing it in pause, and the alarm doesn't go off and stop me. We've got this set here. It looks quite nice, doesn't it? That love the colours. Colours are great. We've got first class there. Oh, look at the seating. Seating's a bit funky, isn't it? In there. We've got the DVT on the back. 82231, and then of course we have the other 90 on the rear for going back the opposite way, which is 90019, which is called multimodal. And we're going up Tom Benson Way here. So there you go. That is our consist. The taillights are not on, are they, in there? So let's unpause it. We'll go back to that. We're at 75 now. Let me put the speed set up to 75. There we go. About these test runs, or the first test runs, and this is the actual first test run that we're doing today. The first test run was Wednesday, the 4th of March 2020, which also marked the Class 90's debut at Blackpool North. So when we get into Blackpool North, that's the first time that the 90 ever came into Blackpool North, which is quite nice. As we've seen just there, the locomotives involved were 90 019 and 90 036, exactly as we've got. And they were hired from DB Cargo UK, and they hold the inaugural training service. The working was designed 3 Papa 51 from Crewe carriage sidings on the LNWR site to Blackpool North, and the return service was 3 Kilo 83. Coaching stock included a drive-in van trailer DVT at the rear, which was typical of Mark IV formations. Overnight servicing was planned at the former Arriva North depot in Blackpool, with maintenance handled by Alstom at Wembley. And they even had a fleet of 90s. The fleet was to include 5 Class 90s for this Euston to Blackpool service. They were namely 90026, 90021, 90029, 90039 and 90040, with one kept as a spur. The first refurbished Class 90, which was 90026, was delivered to Crewe International Electric Maintenance Depot in February 2020. So it seems like a good service, this. But it didn't last very long. And the notes also tell me why that is as well, which is a shame. You can kind of guess what happened. Despite successful test runs, the planned service was cancelled in September 2020 due to the impact of COVID-19, there you go, and commercial challenges. The Mark 4 sets and the Class 90s were returned off lease, ending the Blackpool venture, sadly, before passenger services began. Which is a real shame, isn't it? Because the 90s and the 91s, I just say something about the 91s because this is Solwick, by the way, that we're just going through. On this announcement of the 90s, a lot of you said in the comments, oh, I really wish we had the 91. I'll take it. I'll take the 90 as a starting point. I'll tell you what I think about this. I think this Class 90 is going to be a bit of a testing ground. Because the 90 and the 91 are quite similar, aren't they? The 90 is going to be a testing ground. And I think, and I hope, I don't know, by the way, this is just me speculating, that once Alan Thompson Sim... Let me just cancel that. Once Alan Thompson Sim have seen how this goes, they may develop the 91 and also the East Coast Main Line, because a lot of you said recently, oh, the West Coast Main Line also is getting a lot of love and a lot of additional stock. What's happened to the East Coast Main Line? I think there's absolutely no way the East Coast Main Line will get left as it is in TSW. I absolutely, expect that soon after the West Coast Main Line, they'll move on to the East Coast Main Line, but it could be Alan Thompson Sim that do it. If you followed his streams, you know he likes running on the East Coast Main Line, and there's all sorts of merges and things that you can get from Alan Thompson's site, the TS Classic. But I think that's the way it could go. I don't know, who knows? They've done the airport route, haven't they, so far, so they've dipped their toe in the water with a route. Now they're doing a loco DLC. What, East Coast Main Line next? I don't know. Possibly. Right, we've got 70 coming up. So, let's take the power off and put it to 70. And we're coming up to Kirkham and Wesham. So we ain't got far to go, we've only got 10 miles. Put the power back on. Now that we're under the 70. But the Class 90 itself, if you've watched this channel for a long time, well, both the 90 and the 91, we've run that quite a bit in TS Classic. This, by the way, is, of course, the Armstrong Powerhouse enhanced version of the Class 90. So it's got a few more bells and whistles. It comes with quite a few scenarios, actually, which are for the West Coast Main Line North. And again, we've run a few of those in the past on the channel. Just have a look down the channel if you want to see a little bit more additional gameplay of the Class 90, if you're not that familiar with it. But it's a great loco. Great loco. And the other comment that you've given me a lot, and I've seen generally in other streams as well, is the Class 66 is okay. And it's a sort of staple of UK freight. But you were crying out for something else, and now here we go, we've got the Class 90. And I just hope it's a decent pack that comes out as part of the 90. Plenty of scenarios, its own timetable. I don't know whether we'll get any varied runs, or we're going to do the same freight runs that we've got now in the West Coast Main Line South, probably. But either way, it's nice to have the 90 in the game, and we're going to get all sorts of liveries done for it, aren't we, in Creators Club? So there's definitely something there to look forward to. Right, we've got 8 miles to Blackpool. It looks strange, doesn't it, having the overhead catenary on the way to Blackpool. If you've just been playing TSW, that is. Of the horn once again. Now what I want to know is, did any of you see the 90s going up to Blackpool during this test phase? I bet a lot of you did. There'll be somebody out there that did. Thank you to On Track Simulation, by the way, for recreating this exactly as it was in TS Classic. That's what I like about TS Classic. Not only do you get scenarios, you get real-world stories like this one recreated in the game as well. And I just put that into Copilot and looked it up, and here we go. We got all the details about this actual run, which was really nice. And as it said, this is the first time the 90 went into Blackpool North. So I bet there was a lot of people there, knowing that this was coming. I bet there was a lot of people there. We'll see when we get there. There's the tower on the left, coming into view, as we always do, try and spot when we're on the Blackpool branches. You can see it there. Over the top. Now, shall we do a flyby? Now, I'm going to risk it here because you know what'll happen. The alarm will go off. But we'll see what we can do. We'll just do a short one. So let me take that off pause. Here it comes. Seems slow at 70, doesn't it? Seems very slow at 70. Got plenty of 319s, northern 319s coming past us up and down, as you would expect. But yeah, everyone's quite hyped for the 90. In that last video, I just picked out the things. It was a big roadmap, wasn't it? There's a lot on that roadmap. I just picked out the 3 or 4 things that I'm most interested in. We're gonna get this West Coast mainline Birmingham to Crewe, I think, in a matter of weeks probably, because we've got the preview stream coming up this Tuesday, which is always a sign it's nearly there. We don't know much about the Just Trains Preston to Crewe routes release date yet, apart from, according to the previous roadmap, it's due by the end of this year. We got that Transport for Wales Pacer as well, which also is shaping up to be a good DLC as well, actually, for the Cardiff City network. There's a lot of exciting stuff. If you're a UK British fan, British Railway fan, there's a lot coming up before the end of the year. A lot to look forward to. So this one was the icing on the top of the cake, I think, the 90. And as I said at the beginning, it was a surprise. Nobody knew about that. Right, we should be coming down to 50, so I'm going to take the power out. Probably over-braking a little bit, but this is the approach to Blackpool. As you know, we get right down to a very slow speed. Because once we hit Poulton, we've got Leighton. We'll go through Leighton Station, and we're pretty much there. As we go through Poulton, by the way, take a look up to your right-hand side. You can see the Burn-Naze branch, which is in the TSW DLC is quite active. But if you look at it in this DLC by 2020, it's quite overgrown. And this is Poulton. Look how built up it is as well. As we come into Poulton, there's none of that in the TSW version. Got a 158, Northern 158 over there in the other side. I think Poulton signal box is also gone in this version. Poulton signal box was sat right there, if you remember. And there's the Burn-Naze branch going off. Yeah. Quite saddening, isn't it really, when you see pieces of track like that unused. Right. We can get up to 70 again briefly But as I said, we're coming down for Blackpool, so it's not for long. I do think once this releases, this will be one of the... I'd be interested to see the stats. It'd be one of the most used bits of DLC, I think, for a while when it comes out. I mean, we saw it in the red livery in the screenshots. That's not to say that it will only come out in the red livery. We don't know yet. We'll have to wait for some more details. It's a shame we don't have any timings. That's the other thing. I mean, it could be a year away. But to me, those screenshots looked pretty advanced. I don't think we saw a full screenshot, did we, of the whole 90? We saw the front end from a couple of angles. But I don't know if it's in a driving state yet. Again, they might surprise us and just tell us they're releasing it, which would be great, really. Right, this is Leighton Station coming up, and I'm going to take the power off right now. We'll just coast it for a little bit because we do have a 40 coming up. See Blackpool Tower now coming into view once again. We'll put one notch of brake in, I think. Here's another 319 coming out of Leighton. Stopped at Leighton, actually. And we'll make our way into Blackpool Platform 6. So just a short run in the 90. But after the announcement, I just wanted to dive in and just see what I've got. There's lots and lots of scenarios for the 90 on all different routes in TS Classic. But this one, you know, again being local to me and being a bit of an unusual working, I thought this was a good one to do. So, hope you've enjoyed it. Do leave me a like, won't you, at the bottom. Let me know what you think of these type of videos. And keep sharing the hype for the 90 as well. It's been great to see that, and it's been great to see you all in the comments responding to each other as well. I think a lot of you are excited. Right, here we go. Past the carriage sidings, we got a 30 and a 20, and then we're into Blackpool North. No sign of the Gronk, which is what we always see when we come into Blackpool normally. Some track workers there. No signal boxes either. No signal boxes, they've gone. We got a Pendo in on the other side, which is quite nice. And it looks like another 319 in there. But yeah, this is Blackpool North. Let's make sure we don't overshoot here because we'll be straight through the buffers. And into the station forecourt, which would not be good, would it? But no, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do give me a feedback and give me a thumbs up. And we'll soon be out of here, so I will see you all on the next video. But thank you very much for watching. It's much appreciated. And welcome to Blackpool North. There we are. Take care, everybody, and bye for now.